This story follows a young woman named Nimue and the sword Excalibur, long before Arthur ever wears a crown. Nimue is beautiful, but in her land the word witch carries a heavy stain. As a daughter of the Fae, she lives under suspicion, judged by people who fear what they do not understand. One night her mother, Lunette, leads a clan ritual and receives a sign. Fate has chosen Nimue to become their next wielder of magic, the heir to lead her people. Nimue refuses the calling, panic rising, and she runs from the camp rather than accept a destiny she never asked for. So welcome to Cursed. Elsewhere, we meet Father Carden. After a calm chat with a young boy, his men burn the boy's village to the ground. Carden and his followers call themselves the Red Paladins, and they purge any place touched by magic. They are not the only threat. King Uther Pendragon rules with iron ambition, and Merlin, his famed sorcerer, is seen by the Fae as a traitor for hunting his own kind. Together, Uther, the Red Paladins, and Merlin drive a merciless campaign against witches. Trying to escape that fate, Nimue flees to Hawk's Bridge with her best friend Pym, hoping to catch a ship out. They arrive too late. The vessel has already left the dock. From a distance, she notices Arthur, a charming young man with a warm voice. They cross paths at a tavern, but an old gambler presses his luck and draws unwanted attention to Nimue. He loses his bet, his chair splinters beneath him, and in the confusion, her secret spills. Nimue bolts from the tavern, and nearby Red Paladins give chase, forcing her and Pym into the night. Meanwhile, Merlin visits a healer known for trading in enchanted curiosities. He buys the bodies of twin infants, a grim purchase that suggests a dark ritual, likely under orders from King Uther. Back in the forest, the Red Paladins close in on Nimue and Pym until Arthur appears and helps drive their pursuers off. After the danger passes, the three share what they know. In that moment, they become allies on the run. That night, Nimue and Arthur train together with the sword, but in the middle of their practice, Nimue's mind is suddenly overwhelmed, and she slips into a strange connection with Merlin's dreams. It raises a question that lingers in the air. What exactly ties Nimue and Merlin together? When morning comes, Nimue wakes early and leaves with Pym before Arthur even opens his eyes. She returns to her village, only to find it burned to ashes. Everything she once called home has been destroyed by the Red Paladins. She tries to help a young child escape, but Father Carden catches her. During a brief opening, Nimue manages to break free and runs to find her mother. With her last strength, Lunette gives Nimue a sacred sword, entrusting her to keep it safe and out of enemy hands. But before they can flee, one of the Red Paladins slays Lunette in front of her.
Go!
Meanwhile, King Uther and his court experience terrifying magical disturbances. No one knows the source. Even Merlin senses something is deeply wrong. On her escape, Nimue is surrounded by wolves in the forest. With nothing but the inherited sword, she fights them off one by one. The blade seems to awaken something inside her. To understand Nimue's power, we look back to her childhood. She often heard mysterious whispers. As a Fae descendant, she carried abilities far beyond ordinary humans. Once, when threatened by a massive bear, her magic burst forth on instinct, defeating the creature without even laying a hand on it. Back in the present, it is revealed that the magical chaos in the king's castle was not caused by the Fae, but by Merlin's own failed experiment. King Uther orders his capture, but Merlin narrowly escapes. While Uther has Merlin, the Red Paladins have their own weapon, a deadly warrior known as the Weeping Monk, feared for hunting and killing any Fae he encounters. Their main target now is Nimue. The young boy who once spoke with Nimue during the attack is named Squirrel. The Weeping Monk tracks him down easily. At the same time, Nimue attempts to enter Hawk's Bridge, but the gates are heavily guarded. She signals an old wanderer to help her. He pretends to be a traveling dentist, with Nimue as his patient. The guards stop them and insist the tooth causing her pain must be pulled immediately. Nimue has no choice but to endure it to maintain her cover. Elsewhere, some villagers who survived Nimue's burned homeland try to rescue Squirrel, but the Weeping Monk defeats them effortlessly. After killing them, he releases Squirrel just to spread fear, warning him to tell everyone what is coming. Inside Hawk's Bridge, Nimue crosses paths with Arthur again, but trouble follows. The old gambler from before, Bors reappears with revenge in his eyes. He tries to steal Lunette's sword, but Nimue stands her ground and makes him regret ever crossing her. After escaping Hawk's Bridge, Nimue and Arthur rest deep in the forest. Arthur examines the sword in her hands, fascinated by its weight and craftsmanship. He even offers her 500 gold coins for it, but Nimue refuses. The blade was her mother's final wish, meant to be delivered directly to Merlin. She may not know the exact reason, but she knows this responsibility is hers alone. She must find Merlin, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, Merlin returns to the last place Lunette stood alive. He mourns her loss, then releases his grief in a lonely cemetery. There a mysterious woman dressed in black appears. She is known as the Widow. From their exchange, it becomes clear. The sword Excalibur is desired by many. Everyone wants its power. Later that night, as Nimue sleeps, Arthur betrays her. He steals the sword and disappears into the darkness. When Nimue wakes, she finds herself inside a convent. The sword is gone. Arthur is gone. Panic and confusion wash over her. That same day, the convent receives visitors. The Red Paladins arrive, including Father Carden, who brings a wounded soldier harmed by Nimue's magic. If they discover she is here, she will be executed on the spot. Nimue attempts to hide, but a young nun catches her. Thankfully, this nun, named Igraine, chooses to protect her secret instead of expose her. She even helps Nimue blend in as a new member of the convent. Nimue changes clothes and tries to remain invisible by helping tend to the injured, but she accidentally overhears Father Carden speaking to his followers. The Red Paladins believe the Fae have been watching the kingdom for years, and they are desperate to obtain Excalibur. Whoever holds the sword will hold the power to rule the world. Among the visitors is the Weeping Monk. His instincts are sharp, and he senses something is off. He realizes a Fae is hiding in the convent. He informs Father Carden at once. The hunt for Nimue begins. Arthur travels to the royal estate to meet King Ector, a place that once belonged to his own parents. He hopes to gain support to enter an important tournament, something his father wanted for him. When they meet, Arthur learns that Ector is actually a distant relative. Even so, Ector refuses to sponsor him. A short while later, Ector brings Arthur to a nearby tavern. By chance, Bors is there as well. He is furious with Arthur for helping Nimue escape before, and the tension rises quickly. Meanwhile, back at the convent, a full inspection begins. Every nun is gathered in the main hall while the Weeping Monk searches for any sign of Nimue. He does not find her at first, and things would have remained calm if not for a single nun secretly informing Father Carden of Nimue's hiding place. Nimue is actually still in the infirmary, not with the others. Father Carden sends his men to search that area. Fortunately, Igraine manages to sneak Nimue out just in time. Elsewhere, Arthur's luck takes a turn. The Red Paladins capture him and seize the Excalibur sword. To protect Nimue, Igraine goes to an extreme. She strikes her own head against a pillar so the Paladins will believe she was attacked by Nimue during her escape. The ruse works, and Father Carden leaves the convent. Nimue, now safe for the moment, stops by a riverside to clean herself. There she encounters a man named Dissier. He recognizes that she is being hunted, but instead of turning her in, he offers help. Arthur, however, is still a prisoner. The sword remains in the hands of the Red Paladins. We shift briefly to Merlin. Despite his power, he has a reckless streak. He travels to the domain of King Rugen, pretending to be an ally. In truth, he is there to steal the Eternal Flame, a mystical source of Fey magic. The flame and Excalibur are connected, though that connection is not yet fully clear. Back with Nimue, Dissier attempts to smuggle her through a checkpoint by claiming she is his wife. The guard believes the story, though both of them are trembling with fear. After passing safely, Dissier leaves Nimue in the forest and continues on his way. Meanwhile, Arthur manages to loosen the ropes binding his hands. He distracts the guards with casual chatter, then slips away and escapes from the moving cart. Nimue eventually enters a nearby village, where she unexpectedly reunites with Arthur. He explains everything, including how he lost the sword. Nimue forgives him, and together they return to the forest to track down the cart carrying Excalibur. While searching, they discover Dissier's wagon instead. The kind-hearted man and his family have been slaughtered by the Red Paladins. Overcome by grief and anger, Nimue hears the faint guidance of unseen voices. She follows the whispers to a riverbank, where the Red Paladins are bathing and resting. The sword is stored in their cart. Nimue does not hesitate. She strikes swiftly, cutting down the Paladins one by one. Later that night, while the world sleeps, Merlin makes his move. He slips into the sacred vault of the Fae and steals their eternal flame. The theft succeeds, but he is spotted as he escapes. Guards loyal to King Rugen race after him, ready to cut him down for the betrayal. Back on the road, the only survivor from Dizier's family is his young daughter. Nimue and Arthur take the girl with them and bring her to a Fey refugee camp hidden deep in the wilderness. For now, it becomes their shelter. To Nimue's surprise, someone familiar is already there. Igraine, the nun who once saved her inside the convent. Nimue explains everything, from the sword to her connection with Merlin. Igraine agrees to help her find him. Meanwhile, Merlin is stopped by the king's soldiers. He is to be arrested for treason. Igraine writes a letter and gives it to Nimue, a message meant for Merlin. The letter states that whoever can bring peace between humans and the Fae deserves to wield Excalibur. Igraine then takes Nimue to meet Yeva, an elder sorceress. Yeva is the only one who can bridge the distance between Nimue and Merlin. The next day becomes a turning point. Merlin is moments away from execution when a falcon lands beside the king, carrying Yeva's message. The promise of obtaining Excalibur tempts King Uther. He cancels the execution instantly. If peace can be made, the sword will be granted. Back at the camp, a celebration is held. Rumors spread that the Green Knight is coming. The Fae gather to welcome him. Before he arrives, Nimue spots Squirrel among the crowd, still alive. Moments later, the Green Knight appears. His real name is Gawain, an old friend of Nimue. They embrace warmly after years apart, and she introduces him to Arthur. Nimue tells Gawain about her mission in the sword. Gawain is stunned. He cannot understand why Lunette would entrust Excalibur to Merlin, a man the Fae consider a traitor. As they talk, Igraine bursts in with devastating news. The convent where she once lived has been destroyed by the Red Paladins. And now we learn something even more important. Igraine is not just a nun, she is Arthur's sister. Following Igraine's guidance, Nimue returns to Yeva. This time, the ritual is different. Yeva sends Nimue's spirit out of her body, carrying her into another realm where she finally meets Merlin face to face. Nimue explains her mother's dying wish, and in that moment, a hidden truth is revealed.